Hey there, Danielle Matthews here. I am coming to you live from Florida. And, I am on a mission to help people break free of PTSD and to start to nurture the seeds for post traumatic growth to bloom. I teach a lot of ancient wisdom for these modern times. And today in this video, I'm going to open your eyes about what your body is actually telling you about your beliefs, about your thought patterns, about the innermost things that you keep. And your subconscious programming, it is actually revealed, your innermost world is revealed to everyone in the way that you hold your body. Now stay with me to the end because I am going to walk you through a body scan. I'm going to help you realize this. I'm going to allow you, as I continue to do videos in this series, to explore these different aspects of yourself. Now this is based off of my personal studies of yogic philosophy and yoga therapy specifically. I've trained with a master yogi, Kamini Desai. I just recently got back from a trip to Iceland where I was studying with her. And I've also been diving very deep into this book. It's called Body Mind. This is not a new book, but it's probably very new to you. It's by Ken Deichwald. I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly, but it's available. You can grab it on Amazon and get a copy. It will reveal so much to you as you go through those pages, but I will also be digesting it here with you to help you understand this relationship. All right, so let's begin. I want to ask you this. This is something I think we can all relate to. When you get nervous, what happens? Let's say somebody says you're going to have to go speak in front of a bunch of people. They're about to hand you the microphone. What happens? We get the butterflies, right? We get butterflies in our stomach, and we can relate, this physical symptom in our stomach to emotional stress. I think that's a correlation all of us have made in life. Now, think about the last time you got in a fight. What happened when you were in a fight? Probably you took a more aggressive stance. You were angry. Things became tense. All right, and you're probably willing to admit that that tension came from the argument, right? Physical manifestation of an emotional quality. But have you ever allowed yourself to carry this relationship further? Have you ever thought, wow, I wonder if my sore throat is associated with me restraining my anger? I wonder if my sprained ankle is associated with me not feeling grounded. I wonder if my breathing issues are because of rage or grief that I'm holding in my chest. I wonder if hemorrhoids are because I'm holding on to my emotions too tightly. I wonder if my cancer is here because I've been repressing my feelings. All right, so just imagine with me. You might be saying, Danielle, you're insane. There's no correlation here. Stay with me because this will blow your mind. So imagine with me that you bring that nervous, upset feeling. Okay, this anxiety. Let yourself feel that in your body right now. Think of a situation that's caused you anxiety, your nerves, etc. Where do you feel it? Most of the time we feel it in our stomach, but how are you breathing? What are your muscles doing? Now, what if you did this daily, every single day for at least 10 minutes a day? Where would you be a year from now? I'm willing to bet that your body would start to shape itself in a way where it had nervousness in its stomach and your body was tense in a certain way. I mean, think about if you're unhappy or depressed, or maybe you know somebody that's unhappy or depressed. If you allow yourself to take on that posture, how does it manifest? Chances are your shoulders are going to kind of slump forward. The chest is going to be sunken in. You're going to feel heavy, just kind of looking down. Guys, emotional stimulation has the same impact on your body that physical activity, physical exercise has. If you repeat this, right, let me say it again. Emotional stimulation has the same impact on this body of yours as physical exercise. You go to the gym, 10 minutes a day, I do this exercise. What happens? Those muscles get attention. Every day I get upset, I get depressed. What happens? My muscles get this attention. It is profound. All right, the thing is, it's harder to detect this emotional stimulation because a lot of times you're unconsciously exercising your body in this way. All right, and the body starts to form around these feelings that you're having that are animating your system, and in turn, those feelings actually start to get trapped in the musculature, in the tissues of your body. Your body, how it's holding itself right now, is actually a product of a lifetime of emotional encounters. Your body is actually presenting information about you that's expressing your innermost self. And to the trained eye, they will know everything about you. And this is the eye I'm training myself with to help understand others and myself even better, right? Your muscles are shaped by your life history, how you stand, how your feet touch the ground. Do you have flat feet? Do you have arched feet? You'll start to, it's going to start to make you wonder, how responsible am I for the diseases that have manifested in my body? What's the emotional link? Maybe some of you are familiar with Louise Hay's work. Anytime I have a sickness or a loved one does, I always Google it and I go, what is this sickness correlated to? A lot of us are ignorant of our own bodies, It's crazy because this body is with us 24/7, and yet we get sick and we have to go ask somebody else for guidance because we have so little understanding of how this thing operates and how it functions. And, what I'm saying might kind of be shaking you a little bit, or you might be thinking it's ridiculous. But the fact is, you can be seen from the outside as accurately or perhaps more accurately than you see yourself from the inside. And I hope that actually intrigues you. And I hope that you actually start to kind of lean into, well, what does this mean for me? And how can this open up, myself? The field of human potential is something that in the West has, been being explored for a long time, for decades. I mean, this book is from the 80s. This is not new, right? This is not new, but it's probably just new to you. And what's super interesting is that, in the East, Oriental, Indian culture, they haven't separated these things. They realize that there's a holistic approach between the body and the mind. They're actually inseparable. It's only here in the West that we have chosen, for some reason, to create duality, to actually separate the body from the mind, to separate the psyche, right, something that lives around here, from the rest of the body. And it's actually this split, it's not surprising that because we've split the body and we've split the mind, that they compete and they argue. They're not integrated. And I want to teach you how to integrate it. I want to teach you how to understand your body and how to understand and release trapped emotions. It will set you free. The experiences that I'm having, the private sessions that I'm doing, it is absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Just as an example, I had a friend of mine message me. She saw one of the breathing modalities that I've been sharing in that series. And she said, Danielle, I need something because ever since my husband passed away, I've had so much restriction in my neck. She said, I cannot swallow. I can't breathe. I feel like I'm suffocating. And I immediately said to her, we need to do a yoga therapy session. And through that session, I won't get into the details of yoga therapy now, but basically it's going into the body, into this restriction, and asking it what it needs, asking what emotion is blocked there. And by the end of our session, not only did her body tell us what it was, we were able to get that emotion to flow through. We were able to figure out what it needed. And for the first time in months, she was able to breathe fully. She was able to swallow without restriction. That entire intensity that had been strangling her up until that point was gone. This isn't a matter of an hour session with me. Absolutely phenomenal. What are you carrying around, right? We're going to get to the body scan at the end of this video, but there's so much, and there are techniques and tricks to release it, so don't worry when you find this out about yourself. But I want to relate this back to the video I did last week about the bliss body. I love yogic philosophy. I think that the yogis were incredible scientists, and they mapped out an understanding of our physical beings that, the West has just missed up until this point. And I talked about how the yogis talk about the chitta, right? The chitta, it's in the bliss body. And these are, the vibration that you hold that's you. Like a little kid, when they come into this life, they have their own individualized personality that seems to come with them. Well, the yogis say that's the chitta. And the chitta, it's, the repetition of what you think and the actions you take, etc. Well, what's super interesting is that the chitta, so the way the yogis say it is that source, the energy from source, from the divine, animates our physical body. And in order to do that, it comes through in our energy body and it hooks in through our chakra system. And it most predominantly hooks in through the heart. All right, what they say is that the universal energy is converted into the biological energy that we need through the heart. Well, interestingly, the chitta lives in the heart center. It lives in the heart space. And so what happens is this energy has to move through the chitta. It has to move through your individualized thoughts. And then that enters the physical body. And so the yogis say, well, of course, it then impacts the physical body. It impacts where energy is maybe blocked or can't flow as strongly. And so it's really fascinating to dive into that, but I wanted to tie that in to help you continue to just, pull the thread through of what all of these ancient teachings and this ancient wisdom is really revealing to us about ourselves. All right, when you examine yourself closely, you are going to notice a lot of imbalances as we're about to do this body scan. You might notice some confusions, some rough edges, and your soul also probably has some imbalances, some confusion, some rough edges, right? Conflicts that have come in our physical body really are there because they've also molded our character. They've molded our personality. They've molded the physical body as well. And I don't want you to take this information as another reason to be critical of yourself, but instead I want you to use it to appreciate your own uniqueness. Right? Enjoy how your muscles and limbs have come to tell the story of who you are. All right, the story that's alive within you. One of my teachers, Amrit Desai, he says, the body is the book of secrets. It totally is, and I'm going to teach you how to read it. All right, so remember, you are not smooth, for your life has not always been smooth, right? You are not perfectly balanced because your feelings are not always perfectly balanced. When we do this body scan, you're not going to be symmetrical. And that is because the actions that you take are not symmetrical. Your muscular strength is not going to be evenly proportioned throughout your body. And just like in life, your interests are not equally distributed throughout your life. So let's do this body scan. All right, if you're listening to this, you need to get to a place where you can stand. All right, so stand up. And I want you to just close your eyes and take a deep breath in. And then just exhale. Maybe on this next inhalation, bringing the arms up above the head. And then just exhaling down. And doing that one more time. Inhaling in. And exhaling, perhaps bringing the arms behind the back. And just stretching the neck over to the left. Coming up, stretching over to the right. And then I want you to shake the arms out. Just let them hang by their sides wherever they are. Step the legs so that they're about hip width apart, and just close your eyes. And I want you to bring your attention now to the feet. I want you to notice if you have more weight on one foot than the other. Notice if the ankles are rolled in or if the ankles are rolled out. Do you have flat feet or do you have arches? Bring the attention now to your knees. Notice if you have more bend in one than the other. If you have more weight on one knee or the other knee. If they're in a locked stance. If they're in a neutral stance. Now bring your attention to your hips. If your hips were a bowl of milk, would the milk be coming out of the front because your hips are pulled back? Would the milk be coming out of the back because your hips are tucked under? Or maybe one hip is lifted more than the other, or maybe it's twisted. Just notice. Coming to the ribs now. Are your ribs sticking out? Are they resting on the spine? Just notice any differences. Are they twisting one way or another? Coming to the shoulders now. Are they neutral? Are they lifted up towards the ears? Maybe one is and one isn't. Maybe they're rounded forward. Maybe they're held back, military style. Now take a deep breath in from the pubic bone all the way up to the collarbone. And breathe out. As you breathe, notice, is there any place that the breath doesn't flow easily, where it's less connected? Just notice. Coming to your neck. Notice where the tightness is in the neck. Does your neck get pulled up one way or the other? Does it get pulled forward? Does it get pulled back? Is the head leading the body? Or is the head neutral? Now I want you to draw an imaginary line down between the eyes, over the nose, straight down until it would hit in the middle between where your feet are. So you have a right and a left side. And just notice what does the right side of the body feel like? Bringing your attention to the right side. Notice images, colors over here on the right, feelings that are held over here on the right. What would it be like to live on the right side only? What part of your personality is living there? Is it comfortable? Is it uncomfortable? Familiar, unfamiliar, known, unknown? Now shift to the left. Just notice what it feels like here. Is it familiar or unfamiliar? What part of you lives over here on the left? What colors? What feelings? What would it be like to live primarily on the left side? Now come back to the whole body. Taking a deep breath in, letting it all go, and just release this exercise. What I want you to do now is write this down. We're going to be coming back to this. I'm going to be sharing more. We're going to go through each aspect of the body, but in the comment section, go ahead and tell me 1 or 2 major takeaways that you found. And if you have any insights, maybe what those insights are saying about you. We're going to discuss every aspect throughout the summer, throughout these weeks. And I'm going to suggest yoga poses, things that you can do. If you need a yoga therapy session because you already realize there's some tension you want to release, just reach out. I'm happy to do that with you. I hope that this has brought you some insight. It's making you think a little bit differently about life. And I will continue to bring you ancient wisdom for these modern times because I want you to reach your full potential. And I know that when you start to understand this body-mind connection, it is going to set you free in a lot of ways. So have a beautiful day. I look forward to the comments. And even if you catch in the replay, I will respond to them.